Well, the iPad family, it keeps growing. What's better than one iPad 2 when you have two iPad 2s? Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. So today's video will be quite interesting. As you can see, I got yet another iPad 2. So here's some context. My uncle's had this iPad for a while. This was his first ever iPad, and he was gonna throw it out. Unfortunately, the home button doesn't work, but I have assistive touch working. I'm just gonna put in the passcode. So if you can't tell, the device is running iOS 9.3.5, which is the macOS for this device. So it was updated to the latest OS, again, iOS 9, so it doesn't run as well as my iPad 2, other iPad 2, which is on iOS 6.1.3. This can also be downgraded to 6.1.3, but for the sake of today's video, we'll be downgrading it to 8.4.1. If you don't know, it can also be downgraded to iOS 8 because since this is a 16GB iPad 2 Wi-Fi, I thought it was an iPad 2, 4, which could only be downgraded to iOS 8. So even though it can, I'll still be downgrading it to iOS 8. And it does have a couple apps on here for a quick exploration. I did change the wallpaper because it did have some faces in it. So we have this chess app, we got some MLB apps. This is the link to Giants.com, Trulia, CBS Sports, Office Football Pool, and like some football betting apps. Adobe Spark Page, an old version of Google Maps, Minecraft PE, which I think might be valuable because I think that app costs money in the App Store. I'm just gonna double check if it does because I think I might be dumping a lot of these IPAs. Gas Buddy, Google Earth, Zillow, Weather Channel, another NFL.com app, a complete quiz for Minecraft. A lot of these are like links to like consumer reports and gambling websites. The Web Tender, because he was a bartender, and a bunch of like apps like surrounding like wines and stuff, like checkers, a calendar, Sudoku, some like games and apps, Yahoo Mail, calculator, and Verizon Fios. I won't be showing the photos on here because, yeah, there are faces. And then in the news app, we have the Consumer Reports magazine app. I was able to deactivate it from his iCloud account. It had Find My iPhone on, so in case if I reset it, it would still have Apple's reset protection. So I will be logging into this with my iCloud because in case if it does iCloud lock itself, it'll be locked to my Apple ID, which is good. So the good news is that I ran the serial number through iUnlocker to check if like iCloud was actually off in case if I downgraded it. So the good news is it is not. So what we're going to be doing in this video is we explored it a bit. So we're going to be jailbreaking it and downgrading this to iOS 8.4.1 via the quite controversial plist method because I can't use the more solid, robust, normal downgrade method because unfortunately, the home button is broken on this iPad. But first, I just want to dump a lot of the apps on this iPad. So the script that I'll be using for this entire thing is Legacy iOS Kit. So I'm just gonna pull it up. I just gotta check my message notification. So I have it in here. So I'm just gonna check to see like how we could like dump a lot of the IPAs. App management. We're gonna go to list all apps. So in order to dump all the apps, we gotta jailbreak this thing first. So we're just gonna ignore this Java update. So we're just gonna close out of that. Now this is how to jailbreak it using Legacy iOS Kit. So you just go to the option jailbreak device. So we're just gonna press enter to return. So we're gonna be just sideloading the jailbreak called KOK3SHI9. So we're just gonna download that IPA. So we're sideloading the KOK3SHI9 IPA onto the iPad now. So it's just a standard sideloadly process. Sideloadly I've had instances where it just randomly opens on my laptop. Oh, and the window just disappeared. Well, I finally got the iPad sideloaded and jailbroken. It took forever, so this is basically what I did. So originally, after finding the sideloading issue, I just tried by using jailbreaks.app/legacy, but then that's blocked by the Wi-Fi because Eero Secure just filters out any websites that it deems insecure. Then I tried on my Windows computer to sideload it. Didn't work, so then I restarted the iPad. It had an activation error, so then to fix the activation error, I had to reset and wipe the entire iPad using my laptop. I did just that, and the app sideloaded just fine, so we're going to be jailbreaking it together. So we need to approve the developer certificate now. Apparently, Apple stopped signing the certificates to install the Phoenix jailbreak. So they developed the new jailbreak, and it's entirely in Japanese. So we're just gonna hit the jailbreak button. It's semi-untethered, so you don't need a computer to boot it. So you just ignore that. So you do not need a computer to boot this KOK3 SHI9 jailbreak. But every time the device restarts, you need to re-jailbreak using this app. So I'm just gonna get back to you once the jailbreak is done. Okay, so it's respringing, and then so you can literally see my iPhone through the reflection of this iPad. We're just waiting for it to boot. So now we're back into iOS 9. So I think Cydia is supposed to be on the App Store. I'm just gonna put in my passcode. Ooh, we got Cydia on the home screen. So let's fire up Cydia, and we're gonna be using the dirty downgrade hack because this iPad has a dodgy home button, because I tried getting into recovery mode on this iPad and it didn't really work. I had to use Legacy iOS Kit to get into recovery mode because the home button, you have to hold it down like really hard. So we're gonna install Filesa. Okay, so just click return to Cydia, and then this is the dirty downgrade. So we literally need to like reset the iPad, like erase all content and settings afterward. So we're just gonna go to not Cydia, but Filesa. Filesa File Manager. Let's install this package, and it's quite easy to do this. This downgrade is supported by all versions of any device with an A5 or an A6 CPU, even ones with the A5X. This iPad was purchased in 2012, but then it's an iPad 2.1. So I think it's one of the last one of the last ones that, so just ignore that. That's one of the last ones that can let you just it's like one of the last iPads you can downgrade to 6.1.3, but I won't be able to do that because again the home button doesn't really work that well. So I think every time it asks for that the storage is full, that might not be good. There might be some things I'll just have to clear out at that time. So it's now stuck on configuring, and I'll let you know when it's finally done. So the good news is it finished installing. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's pull up Filesa. So once you have Filesa launched, this is what you need to do to downgrade to iOS 8. So you're just gonna need to go into the root directory, and then you're gonna navigate to, I think, private, I'm not sure entirely what it is. So I'm just gonna pull up, I have my MacBook on the side running the Legacy Jailbreak Reddit community. I'm just gonna pull up the tutorial. I was just a little rusty on entirely what to do. So we need to go into the system version.plist folder, and there is a great guide on there. It's posted by a deleted user now, but it's pretty excellent on how to downgrade this to 8.4.1. So you need to go into System, Library, Core Services, and then you'll find system version.plist. So let's get into there. You'll go to the root, and then we can edit it from here. So we're basically making the iPad think it's on a different iOS version. Well, I messed up big time. I accidentally put in iOS 6 as the product build version, but 10b32.9 is actually 6.1.3. So let's try to check for an update again. Well, I forgot another important step. You need to reboot this. It's been a while since I've done this downgrade hack, because the last time I did this downgrade, I downgraded an iPad, any iPhone, was the 10.3.3 to iOS 10, but that was via leaked down. But this one is using using what many people call the dirty downgrade hack, or the plist hack. But it doesn't work all the time. It's quite unreliable. And then the last time I did it was my iPad 2 to 8.4.1 that I went from 8 to 6 via legacy iOS kit. But so this is my first time in a long time doing the classic plist downgrade. So I'm hoping this will work, and then it will save. So it's quote unquote unjailbroken now, but we won't really need to open up Cydia again or like iFile, because we're going to be going right to iOS 6. Okay, so we have the slide to upgrade screen, so I'm just going to put in my passcode, and we have the white Apple logo, so I think it's either updating or something. I have no idea what it's doing, but it's doing something quite interesting. So I think it is updating. So we're rebooted, we're just going to hop into the software update settings and see what we have. So I think the 8.4.1 update might show up, because we're technically updating but downgrading at the same time. So I am hoping to make this like a Spotify, like maybe like a better backup iPad, like a Spotify thing, because although it only does have 16 gigabytes of storage, it is still slightly better. Okay, so the great news is that the iOS 8.4.1 update is here. So we're just gonna go click on this, download and install. We're gonna have to just put in my passcode. To the iOS terms and conditions, basically selling my soul to Apple again. So we've agreed to that. So now you know what that means. Let's cue the time lapse. Now we're going to be booting into the iOS 8 setup, so that's very good. I'd say the downgrade went successful, but we do need a couple more steps to finish. I'm just gonna put in my passcode, update complete. We're just gonna get this thing on the Wi-Fi. Activation successful, and now we're on the iOS 8 home screen. So now the last thing we need to do, because well, this is a dirty downgrade, and that some features might not work. We gotta erase all content and settings. We're just gonna erase our iPad. Let's just erase this. The good news is it won't update. It's just gonna factory reset, and then we'll have to go through the setup screen one more time. So now on the hello screen, we just set this up like any old iPad. English, United States. We're just gonna hop on the Wi-Fi. So we hopped on the Wi-Fi. It's gonna activate because it activated just fine earlier, like what we saw earlier, and it did. Enable location services, set up as a new iPad, so I'm just gonna sign in with my iCloud. So I'm on my iCloud right now, so we're just gonna agree to this. It's gonna set up my Apple ID. I won't be destroying it from an iCloud backup. And you know what's weird? The Apple ID pop-up just appeared on my phone that's recording this. So I'm just gonna pause the video to acknowledge that. Setup.app just crashed. I have no idea what happened. So we're just gonna continue, set up as a new iPad. We're gonna enter the Apple password for this. Again, just had to sell my soul to Apple yet again, so we're just gonna create a passcode. Passcode created. We're gonna automatically send diagnostics. Share with app developers. Welcome to iPad. And here we are on iOS 8.4.1. It's a lot snappier than iOS 6, not 6, but than iOS 7, not 7, but 9 was. And the good news is, in my opinion, iOS 8 had some of the best wallpapers out there because, well, you have your normal 8 wallpapers, then you have the classic iOS 7 wallpapers. This is the wallpaper on my current iPhone 13, the Nebula. I also love this one, the triangles. All these are great classics. Classics for all generations and ages. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this wild journey through downgrading and all this chaos. Please like, watch, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.